Hi, I'm Steve Tweedy. I'm a registered Maine guide. I live in Haynesville, Maine. Today we're going to talk a little deer hunting. It's Wednesday, November something, the day before Thanksgiving. Last few days of rifle season here. I get the trusty old 410 today because I killed a buck last week. First day we had snow. If you haven't seen that video, please check it out. So I'm headed in to get my climbing tree stand. It's a spot I hunted the first week and part of the second week there. This year started like most, warm, no snow, so bare ground hunting. And I don't like to sit. I get quite bored actually, so I do a lot of still hunting, exploring, looking for deer sign, but this area here isn't too far from my house, and there was a lot of buck rubs in here early. Scrapes. There's usually some does that live right here, so it's always a good spot for see deer, hopefully. So I like to climb a stand in. I sat in one spot for a few days, and then I found another spot down the brook where the deer had been crossing and feeding, and I sat there for a few days more. And when I say for a few days, I mean a couple hours a day, because I don't like sitting. So we'll go in. We got snow now. We've had snow for about a week, so I'll see what's been in here in the last week. The deer up here, we don't have the deer density most places in the country do. The deer are spread out. They got a lot of area to roam, and that's what makes Maine one of the toughest places to kill a whitetail. So we wait for snow up here. That helps a lot. It tells you where they are, what they're doing. Myself, like a lot of other guys, we like to track deer. So I had spent the first 2.5 weeks basically scouting areas, and I had an area that typically has a lot of buck sign. Had a lot of buck sign this year, so that was the first place I headed when we had snow, and picked that track up 7 o'clock in the morning. Killed him at 10:30, and then spent 4 hours dragging him 3/4 of a mile. But that's the fun of it. It's all part of the game. So we'll take a walk in here and see what there is, and get my tree stand out of the woods. And then we got to find a spot to set up a ground blind for a friend of mine, so see if she can't get her first buck. It's a good day to be in the woods. Not much wind, a little overcast, and I'm going to call it 30 degrees. So it's a good day to be in the woods. So I can see the four-wheeler right there. We're only 50 yards down the trail, and it's actually a fairly fresh buck track here. I'm going to say it was from early this morning. I'm going to call it, let's say he's 150 to 175 pound buck. He came through here and he's headed down towards where we're headed, so we'll take a look and see what he's doing. Well, by the looks right here, I'd say he's feeding along, so that makes sense. There's a bedding area down along the brook, so he may be bedded there. So we'll follow him here for a little while. He's headed the direction we're going, and I bet he's not too awful far. So there you can see it's definitely a buck. That rub's real fresh, and now that I got him out in the woods here, he's got a pretty decent stride, so I'm gonna say he's probably towards the upper end of, towards 175. He's not a giant buck by Maine standards, but end of the week here, a lot of guys don't get quite as picky. We'll keep following along here. I'm guessing this is the deer that made all the buck sign in here where I was hunting. If we get lucky, we'll get a peek at him and see what he's got for horns on him. So that deer turned and headed back towards the way we came. I'm guessing he's running the edge of this cut. So we're gonna stop following the fresh track here, but he's come out of the same spot here a few times, and I'm looking at the tree. I had my tree stand up, the first spot here, and you walked within 20 yards of it. So we'll at least follow the back track and get to see where he's coming from. I knew he was living down in that area. Pretty good buck. I don't know. So far I haven't seen many other tracks, any other deer, just this one buck here. So like I said, we'll head down towards where my tree stand is and see just exactly where he's been coming from. I really had a lot of fun this year. Last 5 or 6 years I was guiding right through deer season, so I didn't get much chance to hunt myself, and the days I did get to hunt weren't always the best, but you know, any day you get to hunt's a good day. So but this year I really, after cow week, I didn't have anything lined up after that, and I kept it that way, and I got a chance to hunt deer for myself. The early part of the season always kills me. You're just waiting for snow, watching the forecast every day, but it gives you a chance to do your scouting. Like I said, I'm a guide. I run bear hounds and do a lot of bear hunting, so we hunt into October with bears, with hounds, and then I guide moose hunts, and then you're right into deer season. So first week's typically pretty slow, especially up north, and it gives you a chance to get out and scout and explore some areas. You can look on topo maps and find areas. Google Earth is great. Onyx, these deer up here, like to feed around choppings, cuts. There's a lot of young growth and good feed for them in there, so it's good places to start. But you can't expect to find deer droppings everywhere and rubs all over the place and scrapes and tracks everywhere. It's not how it is up here. It's really tough hunting, and you gotta love it, and you gotta have the desire to do it. Maine's one of the most challenging places to hunt deer, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it. So now, instead of tracking deer down for other people, I can track deer down for myself. So we're almost to the brook now. We'll see what else we got for sign along the way. So as I'm following this buck's backtrack, it's, you know, the tracks are old. They're a couple days old here, but you know, I'm just watching where he's walking and what he's walking around and going through, and you know, I think this buck's a little bigger than I'm thinking here. I mean, I don't know if he's a 200-pound buck or not, but I think he's got a decent rack on him, just because of the way he's walking and how wide everything is that he's going between and when he's going around the narrow stuff. So a few years ago, I had a picture of a young 8-point. He was probably 3 years old. You know, tall rack, nice looking deer. You know, I don't think it's that same deer. He'd be 6 now, and he'd be a giant. And I hope he is still roaming around here somewhere. I know they've seen a big 10-point in the area. I haven't laid eyes on it, but it could be him. But this is probably that same gene line anyway. And, you know, the next year or two, he's definitely going to be a good buck. And hopefully he keeps a nice big wide rack on him. We'll just follow through here a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about as far as what he's going through. And, you know, just he's conscious of his rack. He doesn't want to hit it and get hung up on everything. So here we go. We're along the brook now. We're not too far from my stand, so we'll see if there's been any action around there. He's not quite 4 fingers wide, about 3.5. So he'll be a good one here in the next year or two, as long as he survives. So my tree stand was over here. I was kind of watching this area. There was a good deer crossing along the brook here. It's not a real big brook. It's actually high right now. We had a bunch of rain before the snow came, but most of the time you can hop right across it. Doesn't look like the buck came across here. He stayed right in the edge of the woods on the other side of the brook. Who knows, might have been able to bring him out with a bleat or a grunt, but doesn't matter. We got snow and I had a chance to track one down, so that's the preferred method. So we gotta get across the brook here and get the stand. I'm not sure if we're gonna go back the way we came or not. Probably go up the other side of the brook, see if there's any tracks over there. It's a little wider anyway, so I'll have that stand on my back. So here we go. So I'm following this old tote road. It's actually an old snowmobile trail too, but first week of the season there was a buck had scraped this up every 50 yards along through here, but now there's not even a track going up through it over, you know, the week of snow now. So what I found is these old grown up logging roads, old trails that what happens is they turn into game trails, and it's a good place to find scrapes and buck sign along, but they don't always use them as travel ways a lot. You know, they may come check the scrapes. I ended up giving up in this area because none of the scrapes have been freshened up for a week, and I get bored being in one place. But so as you can see, there was 5 or 6 scrapes up through here. I mean, like I said, every 50 yards, great big wide scrape. That Monday, the first week, they had just been made when I found them, so I hunted this area. But what I found was he's got a trail that breaks off of this old logging trail coming down where he went past where I had my tree stand the first time, and it's much more grown up. It's a lot thicker. That's where I showed you, you know, where he was walking through, you know, and how to determine whether he's got a decent size horns or not. It just provides a lot more cover for him there. So, you know, I know a lot of guys have success. They shoot bucks off of scrapes, but I've never had much luck with it. You know, a lot of times these big deer, they're roaming and they'll make a scrape out of frustration or whatever, but I mean, they make that scrape once and they may walk by it again, but it's not to check the scrape. So I don't claim to be any expert, but that's what I've found in my experience, and I have had some success. So we're almost back to the 4-wheeler now, and then we'll start looking for a spot to set up a ground blind. So here's some doe tracks. So I guess there are still some does in the area. That's why that buck keeps coming in and out. These aren't today's by any means, but I can't imagine they're too far. There's plenty of feed down here and cover, and nobody bothers them. So well, let's put that in the memory bank for next year. It's a good early season spot. There's always deer in here. One of these days I'll catch up with one of the big ones that lives right here. So we're actually not far from the house. I can hear one of my hounds barking. But there's a lot of deer right here. There always is. A lot of doe tracks in this old wood yard here. That's a buck track right there. And some doe tracks. So I'm just going to wander up here and see if I can find a good spot where she can see a few different directions and set a blind up for her. And I guess the rest is in the hands of the deer gods, but should have a pretty good chance here. There's always a lot of does, and right now the rut's starting to wind down, I guess, maybe, but the bucks always seem to be running hard right now. I don't know if they're just looking for the last does coming in or what, but this is as good a spot as any. Well, looks like they dug up some clover over here and fed a little bit. So we'll go find a good spot for an ambush. So we get our blind set up. See the safety tracks. down this trail and one's crossing, so this is a good spot. Got a good chance the next few days in the rifle season to get one, so find out what happens. I'm looking here at a Fisher track. Almost time to get some Fisher traps out in Martin. We'll get deer season wrapped up here first. So I'm gonna get out of here. I think it'll be tomorrow morning for our first sit. So with any luck, we'll see another dead buck. Well, thanks for watching. Just gonna wrap it up for today. Head home and get some lunch. If you like the videos, please subscribe, like them. I'm just getting the hang of this GoPro thing, but if you keep watching, I'll keep making them. Another day in the Maine woods.